Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Extra Time, the U.S. Men's National Team Soccer Podcast. I'm Tim, and today we are breaking down another disappointing loss by the U.S. Men's National Team in the Nations League bronze match, medal something. Anyway, third, fourth place match to Canada. Another defeat, another loss under new men's head coach Maurice Pochettino. We're going to see what that means. We're going to give an idea of what that looks like, and we're just going to continue to express more disappointment for the men's national team. All of that is coming up as we head in to Extra Time.
We support the U.S. That's the way we like it. We like it.
All right, as if the Panama loss wasn't bad enough, it's going to be tough to figure out where to start for this game. Men losing to Canada 2-1 in another insert the adjective here sort of performance, uninspiring, uneventful, unenergetic. I mean, there's no commitment, there's no zeal, there's no passion. And it's really tough to try to figure out, back in November, we played just about the exact same set of guys. What happened? Now, from a talent stance, it's understandable, right? Like, you take 5 guys out of your starting lineup, you put some other guys into different starting spots. It makes sense that you're not going to get maybe the same level of talent on the field. So, performance from a talent stance, okay, yeah, it's going to go down a little bit. But performance from like an energy level, okay, maybe it goes down a little bit when you don't have that talent. Performance from just a general buy-in, just a general sense of giving it your all, the passion, the commitment to playing for your country. I don't know where that goes. And that goes for the players that were playing back in November. Pulisic, I never feel like I get any kind of a different feel for when he's out on the field. Like, I always feel like he's kind of giving anywhere between 90 and 110% when he's out there. I thought Tyler Adams played really, really well. Again, he just seems to be, to me, Tyler Adams was probably the best player we had on the field, second to maybe Diego Luna, if we want to get into that in a second. But this is getting tough out there for U.S. men's national team fans. If you're watching this and you've been a diehard U.S. men's national team fan, we're all feeling the exact same thing. Alexi Lalas shared a video to his Twitter feed just recording fans in the stands, which being able to record fans in that stand is already a miracle since the stadium was empty. Okay? And that just goes to a long list of things that we have to try to figure out when it comes to U.S. men's national team soccer. Is this a failure on the federation's behalf? Is it a failure? Blaming the players is a must, okay? First and foremost, it's on them. Then, where are we going with this? There's blame to place on the head coach. There's blame to place on the managerial staff. There's blame to place on the federation. There's just so much blame to go around, and it doesn't feel like, it really just doesn't feel like we're gonna get our act together anytime soon. Something that was frustrating for me, and this kind of this realization that I had, was we might have already passed peak U.S. soccer. What if back right before the World Cup, the last World Cup, what if that was it? What if that was peak U.S. soccer? That was the best that these guys were going to be. That was the greatest performance we're going to see them put on, the possession, the knocking the ball around, the everything. Because one of the things that we didn't see against Panama and we didn't see against Canada was anything that we had seen previous to this. So we had U.S. men's soccer of old right? Me growing up, all the stuff that I remember as a kid, as we kind of get better, some of the people in the comments section reliving their glory days. You got your Landon Donovan chirping off in the comments section. You got Clint Dempsey chirping off in the comments. You got Charlie Brady's chirping off. You got Hercules Gomez chirping off, still trying to make a name for himself. All these guys chirping off, right? Well, they're not as talented as we were, and they're overrated, all this stuff. So two things can be true at the same time. We can currently have the most talented set of players that we've ever had, and we can be putting in the absolute worst performance that we've ever put in before in our entire lives. It's not just the head coach. Have we seen a difference in having a new head coach? Yes. Is it all the negative stuff? No. We're playing slightly different players. I think we're playing different tactics. I got to grab a drink. Give me a sec. We're playing slightly different tactics. If we're playing tactics at all, we're playing slightly different positioning. So there are things that Pochettino has definitely started to do. I don't think any of them are positive yet, but also the man's coached 6-7 games. So we got to take that with a little bit of grain of salt. Most of the frustration I think we're feeling is what was shared universally amongst the fans. We're not playing with any kind of passion. And that's what Alexi Lawless's video shared, right? The fan grabbing a hold of the crest on his jersey and saying, we feel this. Like this hurts us when we see a performance like that. And the fan is basically making the same assumption that we're all making. It doesn't feel like it hurts you guys out there when this performance happens. We don't have the tales of old like Germany does and England does and Italy does. We don't have World Cup wins. We don't have trophy wins. We don't have anything. And on top of that, U.S. men's national team fans have to constantly deal with the fact that the women's national team is outperforming you on a trophy championship performance level, like literally up until probably last month, if we're being realistic, right? And even then, going forward, the women are going to bounce back. The women are going to start picking up some other stuff. Like, they're going to get there. So to be a U.S. men's national team fan is painful. And for some of these players, you're not getting the impression that they understand that. You're not getting the impression that when they put the crest on, they're going, hey, these people need me. Now, the counterpoint to that is, well, when you walk into an empty stadium, that's how you're going to feel, right? Because if I'm playing with the crest on, right, and I'm playing in, I'm coming from playing in the Champions League, which is a massive deal with sellout stadiums. You're playing for probably, arguably, the most important trophy, second to the World Cup trophy. And there's 2,000 people, 3,000 people. Now, granted, the stadium's massive and holds close to 100,000. So even if you were to put 10,000, 20,000 people in it, it's going to look empty. But still, this is the United States men playing. Beautiful stadium. We can't get anybody there. We can't get anyone to show up to this game. So it's tough for them to want to be inspired if we can't get people on the field. Now, I shared that ticket prices were $65. Now, you've probably gone on and read that tickets were higher than that. Yes. Day of tickets were as low as $65. You were probably sitting in the upper deck. I didn't look to see where they were. I'm not in California. I wasn't going to make these games. But I do agree with the comments that I'm seeing as I'm reading through in the sections that charging $165 for a ticket, you don't get to complain when your stadium's not sold out. That's not reasonable. It doesn't matter that, the problem that we're seeing is that in America, these stadiums are shared with franchises that could sell them out basically at almost any ticket price, right? Like the Detroit Lions, they're going to sell out no matter what. If you're buying tickets for $185 minimum all the way up to $200-$300 and the stadium is selling out, the person who owns the venue might be thinking to themselves, yay, you bring whatever else you bring in and they go here. Now, obviously, their business people are smarter than that, but that's not how it works. You can't bring in a team that has demand nationally, but not demand locally. Other countries, like Germany, way smaller than us. It's so much easier to get places, right? 3-4 hours by train. France, same thing. England, same thing, even smaller. So it doesn't matter what stadium you pick. When the national team plays there, you're going to fill it because everybody's going to take a 2 to 4 hour train ride and they're going to be there and they're going to pay 65 pounds, 70 euros a ticket, 100 euros a ticket, and boom, they're there. Whereas in the United States, it's like, okay, yeah, we got this massive fan base and MLS is kind of growing. We'll throw it in this big stadium in this state where soccer's coming alive and we're going to sell this place out. No, you're not. You're just not going to do it. Now, tickets were doubleheader tickets. I get that. Maybe there's some fluctuation, all those things. All of that stuff, like just off the field, is frustrating. Off the field is frustrating. It's frustrating to listen to the commentators. It's frustrating to watch the news. It's frustrating to read the comments. It's just frustrating. And it's that roller coaster ride because it never stops. It goes up and down. When we win, it's like we're the most talented, greatest. We could compete with that. And when we lose, we're the worst team on the planet. There's no middle ground for the U.S. men's national team. Just absolutely none. We're either going to be absolutely loved or we're going to be absolutely hated and nowhere in between. So, constructive criticism for the commentator crew out there, it would be nice if we had constructive criticism. So that instead of Herculez Gomez going off on a tirade on ESPN FC because he's desperately clinging to this contract, because unless he rips us apart, he's worthless. He's no field, no career in this at all. Why are we not doing what Thierry Henry likes to do? What the boys for the Premier League like to do? Which is lay out constructive criticism. You can start by saying, it's a poor performance, it's uninspiring, it's whatever. But then you got to give something. We got to see the hustle. There wasn't a lot of movement in the just like this. When you watch those two games, here's things the men failed to do that we typically are really good at. We build up well out of the back. Canada put a lot of pressure on us, and it paid off, and it paid off way more than it should have. I understand we're playing two new center backs. I understand we're playing a new right back. Or left back. Arsene started on the left, and then we subbed hair guy out on the right. I really don't know. It was a second stint. Canada should not have been able to create that much trouble with the amount of pressure that they were putting in. Why? Because behind Canada's first line sits our midfield, the strongest asset to the U.S. men's national team. At one point, and I mean that, at one point, not currently, at one point, we had the strongest midfield in the world. Musa, McKinney, and Adams were playing with Pulisic and Weah out on the wings, the strongest midfield in the world. That's long gone, which is unfortunate because in the first game, we had Musa and McKinney and Adams all playing in the midfield. This becomes my first criticism. How do you have the same set of guys and you have a polar opposite outcome? And if it was just an effort thing, you could be like, okay, maybe when they turn it on, we'll get back there. If it was just a fitness thing, it didn't look like it was either one of those. Tyler Adams is coming back. He's knocking the ball around, doing fine. Weston McKinney's been playing fine for Juventus. Musa's been playing fine for AC Milan. Weah's been playing fine for Juventus. Pulisic has been playing fine for AC Milan. So what happened? All this pressure gets put on our back four. We can't get the ball into our midfielders because our midfielders are quite literally just standing around all game. The couple times that we're moving, you watch, we're all clumped. Because once our players ran into a space, they just never left that space. There was a ton of times when we were attacking down the right. I can't remember what half that was. And we would like push the ball out on the far touchline. And it would just be like three guys. And we would just kind of like whack it into. I think it was Fossey was that defender. And we would just like whack the ball into each other. And you'd like play the ball to a guy, and we try to do these weird heel, like McKinney tried to do a bunch of heel flicks, like repeatedly. None of those worked. Like, I just don't understand. So Canada is able to put very minimal pressure on our men. And we just play panicked like the whole time. We wind up playing the ball back to Matt Turner. Matt Turner just kind of kicks it. It goes right to Canada. So we had no game plan for building out of the back. So I don't know if that wasn't the tactic or that's not what we worked on or if our guys just didn't care. Whatever it is, we couldn't figure it out. When we got the ball into the midfield, there was no possession game. The United States in CONCACAF, as of late, has been dominating in possession in all of their games. Now, it doesn't mean the results have been dominated. It doesn't mean shots on target have been dominated. But the United States, our frustration had been, how do you possess the ball for 65%, 70 minutes of this game and not generate any opportunities? Up to this moment, up to this window, that had been the biggest concern and the biggest frustration for U.S. men's national team fans. All we do is possess the ball. We're uninspiring in the final third. We can't seem to figure stuff out. So we go into the November window where we score goals against Jamaica. We don't do as well in possession, but we're okay with that because we're like, you know what? We're willing to trade a little bit of the possession away if it means that we're going to get more chances in the final third and we're going to get more opportunities to score goals. So we do that. Now we come to this window, and we've just given both things up. Who cares if we score goals? Who cares if we take shots? Who cares if we put things on frame? Who cares if we swing the ball into the box? Who cares if we try to generate opportunities? Also, who cares if we even have the ball? We're just going to constantly just kind of hit hospital passes to each other. No one's going to run around. No one's going to look. No one's going to do anything. And as a result, you're going to wind up with tons of guys out of the game. So if you look at the differences, that can only mean a handful of things. The biggest difference, so like the number one thing that this must mean is that Jedi Robinson is way more of a stud than any of us realized. And it's not because the EPL doesn't have as many quality left backs. Jedi Robinson must be that good because we did not attack up the left flank at all. We did not generate passes, overlapping runs down the flank at all. We didn't swing the ball into the box at all. And I've criticized Robinson. I've been like, dude, you cannot get that many chances and just continue to just whack the ball away 100,000 times. Okay? And I'm criticizing where I can find criticism. This, we need Robinson back. So maybe that gets cleaned up when we get Robinson. Okay? Scally did okay. He's not Robinson. He's just not that same caliber of player. Now, to Fosse's credit, one of the things that Fosse brought into the game when he stepped on the field was he attempted to do that. Overlapping runs down the right-hand flank, trying to get the ball into the box, generating some kind of an opportunity. That was impressive to me, and I enjoyed that. Playing a little bit like a Serginho Dest, right? Trying to attack up the field. Is he as talented as Dest? No. Is he left-footed like Dest? No. But he was trying to create that energy and create that fire up that flank. And that's one of the things that was missing. We didn't have that at all. Now, in our build-up, we came to life a little bit after Canada scored because that goal was phenomenal. The true highlight to this game was Diego Luna. There were no other gold stars. There were no other shining lights. It was Diego Luna and no one else. Did I like seeing Arston play? Yes. Did I like seeing Fosse play? Yes. Was this a good opportunity to put in newer players to give them an opportunity to shine? Yes. But Diego Luna was the only one that pulled that off. I've been yelling at my TV so much. My voice doesn't work anymore. Diego Luna got involved. Diego Luna gets his assist. He created goal-scoring opportunities. But all of that aside, above all else, Diego Luna busted his freaking butt for the entirety of that game. And what's sad is by the time the game ended, that's the only thing the United States fans had wanted out of any of the other players on the field. Show us you care. Show us that this crest means something to you. If I was able to walk into that locker room and sit, right? Just walk in with all the players sitting on their benches, probably in silence, not saying a whole lot, pulling their shin guards out, taking their cleats off. I would have just sat down on the bench and I would have just asked why. Like, I just want to know what's going on. I don't want to assume that you guys don't care, but I want to know why. Are we tired? Are we hurt? Are we sick? Is there a bug going around? Did your coaches tell you that this window doesn't matter? You guys not get hurt? Is it all going to your head? What's going on? Just because we want to know. If you guys are saving it for something else, let us know. Because we can't keep doing this. You guys don't play that often. There's like 6 more windows until the World Cup. We're going to be down under 10 games soon. This is the only thing that our fans have to look forward to. I've said it, before. I'm going to say it again. I don't have another team that I root for. Look at this wall. There's no baseball jerseys, no basketball jerseys. There's no football jerseys. There's no hockey jerseys, despite how much my brother and I talk about hockey on here. This is it. I painted the walls the jersey color. We don't get to talk about you guys that much. And I can sympathize with you because you get paid millions of dollars to play for these club teams. And you don't want to get hurt. You can't afford to get hurt. I get that. But it's really tough for us to believe that you're going to show up and put 100% in games that matter when games like this don't matter. Because we can make the argument that none of these games matter until the World Cup. But how are you supposed to get ready for games that matter if you don't take these games seriously? Let's do something unpopular. If we were to take all of the names away from this, U.S. men's fans are going to be upset with this, but you know what? Sometimes you got to look at things objectively and look at reality. If we're going to take everything away from this, and I was going to tell you, okay, the United States to win the Nations League, what do you think we would have been on a betting line? I'm guessing we would have been like plus 140 the very first time this happened, because it's probably us and Mexico, and that's about it. And then after we each win the semifinal, Mexico's probably a little favored, so maybe it goes to like plus 110 for the United States, minus 110 for Mexico, something like that. Okay, so the United States wins the first one. What are the chances a team wins back-to-back? Okay, United States may be the favorite, right? Maybe it's a minus money line, but if you were to say at the beginning, United States is going to win 2 in a row, we're probably talking like plus 250 plus, right? Plus 3, plus 400. So what if I was to tell you the United States is going to win 3 in a row? Now we're looking at probably plus 500, plus 600, right? It doesn't matter the team, and it doesn't matter the sport. If you were to sit down before this and say the team that's won it 3 times in a row is going to go on to win it the 4th time, the majority of bettors would say no, because it already was statistically unlikely that they were going to win 3 in a row. That's what we just watched. Is it a shame the way that it happened? Yes. Is it a disappointment? Yes. Is it embarrassing? Yes. Is it surprising from a statistic stance? No. Is it surprising from what we watched? Yes. Because losing would have been one thing. But whatever that was craziness. Now, if it makes anybody feel any better, Mexico had to rely on a stoppage time penalty kick to beat Panama. So, does it mean that Panama is better? Possibly. Panama is clearly showing to be one of the better teams in CONCACAF now, solidifying themselves in that top 4 slot. I looked at Canada's roster. I was very unimpressed by Canada's roster. And I thought, for the most part, we saw not maybe 55% of the game we saw the better of play. Not the whole thing. But for Mexico is not, and this is what's crazy to me, is Mexico does absolutely nothing for the last 4 years except just get throttled by everybody. They finished 3rd in qualifying. Canada's beating them. We're just destroying them. Very decisive victories with possession. And Canada wins this. And like the very first thing the commentator says is like, Canada has now solidified themselves back atop the CONCACAF, whatever. No, they didn't. No, they haven't. No. It's not close right now. If you looked at the last 5 years, the United States maybe has now fallen underneath Canada. Maybe. But that's if you're putting a lot of weight on World Cup qualifying before, where Canada just ran the table. But notice what's happened. Since Canada made that run, and people have figured out Canada has fallen. The same could be true for the United States. The United States, once we went into the World Cup, I think People really underestimated us. We had the youngest roster. We had a lot of young talent, and now we come off of this, and then we are just crushing people. So yeah, we had a low spot. It sucks. I don't know what else to tell you. There's not a whole lot to talk about in any of these games. I don't think White is going to be a quality striker. Oh, there is something. We'll break down the players. We got to break down the players too. Sorry, we'll get into that, as my brain is just kind of all over the place. But the United States winning 4 in a row was going to be an anomaly. 3 in a row was already an anomaly. So the fact that we lost this is not a surprise to anybody. It's unfortunate that it's this dip. It's unfortunate because it's Pochettino. But I'm going to go off the things that my brother said. You got 5 guys out hurt. We know it's flu season. We know there's a lot of stuff going around. We know that Zach, this is important, Zach Steffen was going to play this game as the starting goalie, and he's out with the flu. The flu, if you've gotten the flu, you know that everybody else gets the flu. The flu is very contagious. It's tough to not believe that a lot of the guys on our team maybe weren't recovering from it or starting to come down with it. Right? A loss is a loss. It would explain the lack of energy. It would explain the lack of stuff. But ultimately, because the coach and the medical staff hasn't come out and said it, and I don't think they ever would, I don't think they would say, oh, well, because it sounds like an excuse, right? Well, the United States, the only reason we lost to Panama is because we're all sick. Otherwise, we would have beat you guys, right? It's tough. It's tough. So, diving into, almost a half an hour into this podcast, and now I'm going to start talking about the performance of the game. So, Ajimong, not cut out to be a world-class striker. I understand that he's got a bunch of goals in a bunch of his games, like 3 in the last 4 in the last 5 or something like that. Just watching him on the eye test, he's 2 steps behind every play. He looks a little lost. He just doesn't have what it takes. He's not. Ricardo Pepi is way better. Flair and Balogun is way better. So, I think Josh Sargent is a much better striker too. So that aside, I'm not worried about our striking position because Ajimong is 4 deep at this point on the striker pool and the depth chart. And so as long as we have Balogun and we have Pepe and Sargent, I think we're going to be fine. Diego Luna, arguably fighting for a starting spot, and I would like to see games where maybe McKinney doesn't start and we see him playing. Giovanni Reyna, this is kind of a weird situation. It's got to be an attitude thing. That's what my friend Chris said, because just the performance that we saw out of him, his ability to control the ball in tight spaces, to generate chances, to keep possession on the ball, and to move forward, there's no reason why he's not starting. He had the talent to start in that game. So I just don't know. And one of the things that we didn't see, which I liked from Fossey and I liked a little bit from Reyna, is in the last 2 games, go back and watch and count. How many times did a U.S. player take a guy on? Anywhere on the field. On the wings? Up front? I mean, I'm watching the Canada game, and I think it finally happened on the left-hand side, late in the game, maybe 65th, 66th minute, and I had that epiphany. I was like, I think that's the first time that's happened. That we've really, that was the game plan. Hit the ball up the wing, try to take the guy on and turn the corner and go into the box. It just didn't happen. We just weren't doing it at all. I thought Adams played well. I thought McKinney was kind of lost again. Just didn't really do a whole lot. It's the off the ball movement for me. I'm watching the guys when they're on the ball. I thought for the most part, whenever it was on the ball, they were okay, maybe 6, 7 out of 10. But when we're off the ball, our guys were 2, 3 out of 10. Just nobody's trying to get open. Nobody's trying to move around. Nobody's trying to do much of anything. Defensively, Arfston was fine. He's not a starter, but I'm not going to be panicked if he has to come in as a substitute, depending on the team. I think if he's trying to defend somebody with pace, we're doomed. But I also don't really think we have anybody but Dest and Robinson they're going to keep up with somebody. So you got to play an Mbappe. All 4 guys in our back are just getting smoked. There's just nothing we can do about that. Fossey, I thought played well. He impressed me. I wouldn't mind seeing him another stint. I know there's a limited number of windows, so it's kind of unfortunate he's coming into this now, but I would like to see him get another opportunity. When you get to the 2 center backs, we don't have it. There's no conversation, right? Like the United States, the hole that we were in is that we have a roster that has immense depth everywhere but defense. Like we are playing the 4 guys that we have. Who do we have at center back? Well, we were playing Zimmerman and Ream. Okay, we don't have those guys. So who else are we going to play? And we just like did a Google search for American defenders, and the next 2 names, right? We got this Mark McKenzie guy and Cameron Carter-Vickers. So sure, send them over. And I know there is a lot of people who are like, oh, CCV's playing at Celtic, and he's doing all the Rangers are doing all this, whatever. Like, if you watch, you guys got to watch some of these people on the field. Mark McKenzie played poor. That first goal, I mean, they're just lost. That first goal is embarrassing. Okay, we're not marking anybody at the top of the key at all. And then when we finally do go to do it, like Mark McKenzie doesn't know, like, do I go to this guy? Do I not go to this guy? And that's not just on McKenzie. That's a team communication thing, because how do you not know what you're doing? And I get slip-ups and stuff happen, but there's a lot of guys coming, and Canada's going to attack for a lot of the game. Like, you don't get to get in a situation where you're like, there's 3 guys that are unmarked. Like, what should we do? Oh, that was my guy. Uh-oh. And then he knocks the ball through your legs and it goes in the goal. Like, what are we doing? Same thing with CCV. It's just not, you don't have the pace, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have we just don't have it. So I don't know what else we're going to be able to do because we don't have those 2 spots. Richards wasn't impressive when he played, and I don't even really know that he did that much better than McKenzie or CCV, where that you're like, oh, it's clear cut. It's definitely going to be him. What are you going to slide Scally to be a central defender? Probably not. You're not going to play Adams back there. He's way too dangerous in the midfield. You're just going to sit here and hope you can possess the ball? Then your midfield's got to be better. So we put in White. White is also just not cut out to be a striker. I would go get somebody else, right? Now, we also had lots of Americans that just didn't get called for other reasons, right? Like we know Serginho Dest is still coming back from stuff. He didn't get called in. Gianluca Buzio is somewhere else. He didn't get called in. We know that we have Aiden Morris who can play in the midfield. He didn't get called in. And then Brian Gutierrez didn't come off of the bench. Tolkien's a defender, I think. Like we have a bunch of other guys that we didn't see, and we, just for reasons that we didn't have to do them. I'm interested to see what happens in the next window, because this window you kind of just got to like write off and be like, okay, it's Nations League. It was going to be our 4th in a row. It's probably disappointing. Like, to me, the Panama loss is more disappointing than this. And like Ryan kind of alluded to that, which is like, do you care if we get 3rd or 4th? Like, no, we should have been in the final. Is it bad to get into the final and then lose to Mexico? Probably. But like, given the performance that we saw from Mexico, I also don't know if we lose in regulation to Mexico. I don't really think Panama loses in regulation without that penalty kick, right? They're obviously going into stoppage time and into bonus stats like that. So it's tough. It's definitely tough to be a men's national team fan right now at the moment, but I think we just got to endure, and we got to try to get past this. I think criticism is due, but more from the energy and the effort of the players. It's really tough to kind of figure out what Pochettino has been doing, that should be the criticism in and of itself. We don't really know what's going on, and it doesn't feel like you've made that much of a difference. And then I'll throw this out there just to get a jab in, and everybody can tear me apart in the comment section. It'll be how I know you actually watched all the way to the end. Not having Greg Berhalter, is it really that much better? Because Greg had the best record. Greg had the best win rate. And our players were passionate and inspired under Greg. That doesn't mean we didn't need a change. It doesn't mean we don't need to get these guys fired up, whatever. But are we really going to look back and go, so Tim Weah punches this guy in the head and then we fire Greg Berhalter? Okay, so maybe the players have an attitude problem. But something didn't get fixed. Because Pochettino, he's disappointed, sure. If Pochettino is I'm not angry, I'm disappointed, and it takes our players a little while to realize that, like, you really don't want to disrespect your parents, and Pochettino's your new dad, and they figure that and they come around to that, okay, this might work. But if our players aren't like that, or that's not what Pochettino's going for, I don't know what to expect in these next couple months. But it sure makes it difficult to want to buy tickets when the men go to play there. It sure makes it tough, to want to believe in it. I mean, shame on the federation, shame on the coaches, shame on the players, and shame on the fans. We got to do better. If we want better from our team, then it has to start at home. We have to do better here. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and checking this out. Please leave the comments below. Let me know how you feel. Sharing the frustration. Support each other. We got to keep moving forward. Next window is in June. The United States will play Turkey, and the United States will play Switzerland, or Turkey and Switzerland. I'm hoping to be at the Turkey game. Put my money where my mouth is. Driving out to Hartford, Connecticut. It's about 14 hours from here. Seeing if we can't get that W. All right. Hopefully, I make a couple videos in the meantime. If not, I'll catch you guys in June.